All right, folks, it's John Burkhauser here. I'm with Jesse McDowell from 360 Payments. Thanks for being with us, Jesse, and thanks for being part of this Automotivated. And we're going to feature topics and individuals that know everything about that topic. Like today, we're going to be talking to Jesse about text to pay. So, Jesse, how you doing?
Doing well. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate your time and coming on board because I think it's really important that we share with shops these things that we're about to talk about. And believe it or not, it's a very simple thing. It's text to pay. What is the advantage for a shop to go to text to pay over the way they might be doing it now with the credit card in the shop?
Yeah, for sure. I would say there's a couple. I would say one of the main things is just the convenience for the customer. Everything we're trying to do with technology in the shops, whether it's the payments piece or just using the software in general, from an SMS to a DVI, it's all about customer engagement and making it as simple as possible for the customer to pay you is the goal with text to pay. So you're already working through like a DVI process or texting back and forth with the customer, getting approvals for work, letting them know the vehicle's ready to be picked up. This just closes the loop. Now it adds a link on the end there. They can just click that link, pay from their phone before they even get into the shop. By the time they get in the shop, you just hand them the keys and they're out the door. So it's the convenience piece of it for the customer. But then for the shop, it's the, streamlining that whole workflow. Like I said, you're already in that process of texting back and forth. Now you got to break that and stop, take a credit card, run over to a credit card terminal somewhere, do the whole checkout process when you can have that all in your workflow, already part of the process. So again, just that checkout process makes it a lot more professional for the customer, but easier for the shop staff.
Great. What's really interesting is, time is everything to shops. And, the time that you spend doing it the old fashioned way is something that can be fixed. I mean, we deal with digital software where sometimes people are, if they got to tap too many times, they're like, well, can we eliminate a tap or two? But yet
Right.
they'll still take the credit card and do everything that you just described. So I think it's interesting that people haven't fully adopted text to pay. And you're right. It does fix the processing and that makes it smoother. But there's one other thing about this. Now, when the customer picks up, Jesse, you can have a conversation with them. All the money taking and all that exchange is out of the way. And what's one of the most important things to have a conversation about? Well, what we did today and setting up that appointment for the next visit. And I think that there's a key piece that a lot of shops miss, that if they do that payment out front, have the customer come in where you can have a conversation with them. I think that's really big.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, that's definitely one of the big things. When we surveyed a lot of our text to pay customers, there were two different things. One, it's building rapport with your customer so they like you and come back to you. So with that, how are you going to pay me for the job we just did? That whole conversation off the table. Now you can ask about the wife and the kids and, where they're going on vacation and really, kind of just build that interaction, that rapport with your customer. And like you said, now you can say, here's all the stuff that we didn't do. When are we going to get the next job in here to really, solidify all that declined work? So that's a huge point. It's really booking that next job from that first job.
Yeah, I mean, you leave the dentist and you never leave without knowing when you're coming back and what kind of torture you're going to do to you the next time you come back, right? So why not
There you
us
go.
have that same time to do that, especially in the shops. And would it be fair to say though, with the events of the last couple of years and everything like that, that touchless payment is a preferred way for customers? Do you have any statistics that state that customers much rather use credit cards and especially touchless credit cards?
Yeah. And I think everybody kind of had a stereotype of, the younger generation is on their phones constantly and they're doing everything. So you're targeting, text to pay towards that, millennial generation. But, like you said, over the last couple of years with the pandemic, it kind of forced everybody to start doing contactless payments. Any generation, they couldn't walk in and pay with their credit card, so they had to adapt. They had to start using these digital payment options, And I think a lot are continuing to do it just because they got used to it, and now the ease of use and the streamlined process, they're kind of seeing that benefit and seeing that ease, and are continuing to do it. So we have lots of customers that are taking more of a concierge service, where they're even meeting people in the parking lot, doing inspections, doing everything right there in the parking lot. They're using, mobile terminals to, not have people come up to the counter, but sit in the waiting room on the couch, and they come to the customer and take payments. And the text to pay and the contactless payments is all part of that. It's just easier process, easier to get paid. And I think that's, why it's kept, why the adoption has been there, and it's kept being used throughout, even now that everything's back to normal.
Hey, Jesse, those are some great points. Who would ever think that text to pay was going to change the way you do your service process in your shop? Matter of fact, leaving that time open to set that next appointment up for that customer, that's ingenious. Let's get them back. So that's the end of this Automotivated, folks. Look for part 2 when we continue to speak with Jesse Medell from 360 Payments, and we bring up some more points about how text to pay or even financing can help your shop today.